Emergency episode. I had to do it. Iowa wins tonight, 83-67 at Seton Hall. What a great road win. First road game of the season. And as you guys can tell, I'm pretty jacked up about it. I've been really excited going into the season with this Iowa basketball squad. I just felt like we are going to have a good year. And who knows? I mean, it's only one game. But I think tonight really showed what this team is capable of, what it's made of. And like I said, I think it's going to be a really fun season of up and down, just like every year. That's basketball. You're going to go in, ways, you're going to go a couple games where you're not going to shoot the ball good and you might lose a few. And then you go on maybe a 2-week run. I mean, that's basketball for you. But I think for the most part, this is going to be a really exciting year for Iowa basketball. I'm about ready to say Iowa football. I'm still in the Iowa football spirits. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just, pretty pumped about this. So let's get right into it. This Seton Hall team coming in this game. We've talked about this on actually the episode that came out this morning when we were talking in the football podcast. We talked a little Iowa basketball at the end of it. But I just want to bring this up. If you guys are listening to this on YouTube, I should probably say who I am. I guess I was so focused on explain my reasonings of why I'm doing a podcast tonight. This is the Hawk Talk on Melrose. If you've never listened to us, follow us on YouTube. We have a video thing up there. If not, you can listen to us on your favorite platform, podcast platform. So anyways, let's get right to it. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see my screen right now. And as you can see here, Seton Hall, not a bad team. Now, they obviously just dropped because we just played them. Let's see where they're at now. They're at 46 now. They were at 35. Literally just an hour ago, but now they're down to 46. They're 60th in adjusted offense and 33rd in adjusted defense. So not a bad team. And that's going back to what I just said 2 minutes ago, a really solid road win for us. Now, I don't know where Seton Hall is going to end up. I would imagine they're probably going to end up top 100. So will this be a quad one win for us? I certainly think it might. If they can stay in the top 75, it will be. I don't know. It's just so hard to predict early on in the season. Now, I will say with Seton Hall, they have a great coach. And they have some good players. So I think they'll fare well, especially when they get into Big East play. I think they were projected. I can't even talk right now. Projected to finish 6th in the Big East, which is pretty decent because that's a really good basketball conference. But early on, like I said, 33rd in adjusted defense. That's really good. So we put up 83 points, and we'll talk about this, despite missing a lot of easy buckets in the first half, despite Payne Sanford only having 2 points. Pretty damn impressive. So I just wanted to show this first because people that aren't familiar with, okay, is this Seton Hall team really that good? And I'm not thinking they're that good, but I just want to make the point across that they're a pretty solid team. It's not like we just went on the road and played some below average team because I don't think that this is that team. I think they're going to be a pretty solid team this year. Who knows if they'll make the tournament? I have no idea. Obviously we'll know more as the year goes on. It's just so early in the season. You just never know about some of these teams. Like if we played Seton Hall a month and a half from now, you can maybe start drawing up conclusions. But yeah, so let's get right into it. 83 points scored despite the start of the game. I think we're all, as Iowa fans, and that's basketball. It happens. I think just the atmosphere, big game for them. They're welcoming in a Big Ten team that was 2-0, and their crowd was jacked up for it. And they came out with that intensity and got up to a 10-2 start. And I texted in the group chat, and I hate once again drawing conclusions, but I just said, man, we look very soft right now. And we did. We got like out rebounded in the first 4 minutes. I think they had like 7 offensive boards in the first 4, and they got up 10-2. And it just did not look very good. It looked like, wow, maybe those first 2 games, even though we crushed the competition, we all knew we were playing not very good teams, but it's like, ooh, maybe we still have a lot of work to do. And we still do. I mean, just because you win, I mean, there's still things you got to improve on. But when we got down 10-2, I was like, ooh, this doesn't look very good. And we weathered the storm. And not only did we come back, but once we got the lead, they never took the lead from us. And that's what's the most impressive thing, I think, because when you talk about a basketball squad, that mental, ability, and despite them making runs in the second half, I mean, you saw it in the first minute of the second half. We're up by 12 going to halftime. We come out, turnover leads to an easy bucket for them. Another turnover leads to another bucket. And just like that, they erased a 12-point game to a 6 or 8 point game. And the crowd gets back into it, and we weathered the storm again. So I just thought that was really impressive, where once we took the lead from them, they never got it back. And we were pretty much in control the entire game. And like I said, in the second half, there was a few moments where they did kind of crawl back. There was another moment, probably midway in the second half, where they made a couple threes back to back, and they cut it to like a 5-point game. And we just, once again, weathered the storm. Led by, and if you can see my screen right now, I'm highlighting his name, Chris Murray. A clone copy of Keegan, literally. Pretty impressive, man. I was expecting good things out of him this year. I was just worried that he wasn't going to be exactly like Keegan. I think everyone was like, oh, he's be like Keegan. It's like, okay, he's his own person. And I thought, if he can be, somewhat close to Keegan, great. Man, he looked like Keegan Murray last night. He looked like Keegan. He looked like a lottery pick. He looked like a guy that just, hey, this is my team. I'm going to put the guys behind my back. And in the first half, other guys were struggling, right? Even Tony Perkins, who ended up with 18 points, struggled in the first half, right, to get shot. Chris Murray put everybody on his back, and he put up 29 points, 11 rebounds, played great defense. That was very, very impressive. And then talk about Tony Perkins. Once again, didn't have a very good first half, but man, came out in second half and just lit it up. 18 points, 5 assists, 3 steals, right? Had that tech, called on him because, he was getting into it. But I love that. I mean, at the time I was kind of mad. Just like, come on, that's free, 2 free easy buckets for them. Plus they're going to get the ball. But that's just who Tony Perkins is. That intensity, man. He gets the team, fired up, and I can't go wrong with that. Another really good performance by Rebraca. I think, you can just tell from the difference from last year to this year. Just looks a lot better. And in those first 2 games, you sat there and you saw, how much better he has looked, but you had to kind of be careful because it's like, okay, we're also playing pretty weak competition. Well, he comes in tonight and starts off the game, not looking too hot, right? Those first 4 minutes, we're getting out rebounded, things like that. But he really took it on. And he finished with 10 points, 11 rebounds. I'm telling you, if Rebraca can do that for us, we're going to have a pretty solid year. So looking at the box score, and I think going into the season, this is kind of what I predicted, where you're going to have the 2 big guys in Chris Murray and Tony Perkins. Those 2 are going to be just the guys that you're going to rely on, going to be consistent guys for you. And then they're going to have everyone kind of sprinkle in other guys, right? And that's what happened tonight. Chris Murray, Tony Perkins, right? They had combined 47 points, and then just sprinkle in the other guys that are still really good for us, right? Patrick McCaffrey, Rebraca, Connor McCaffrey, right? Aaron Eulis. Yeah, I thought Aaron Eulis had a really good game. I would say the only thing that maybe I could say is Sanford didn't have a really good game. It happens. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not going to sit here and draw conclusions. I think that he just had an off game. Sanford, he had 2 open looks for the 3-point line. He's got to make those. He's got to make at least one, right? You're a 3-point shooter. You got to make at least one. But I think Sanford will be fine. I think in my eyes, what I took from that is, man, we put up 83 points despite probably one of our best shooters only scored 2 points and was 0 for 4 from the field goal and 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. Or hopefully not anyway. Hopefully he can build back his confidence, because I think Sanford has the game. You saw that in the Big Ten tournament last year. Had a really good game against Purdue. Made some really clutch shots for us, and I think he'll be just fine. But But yeah, overall, and then yeah, looking at the bench, Bowen played very, very very small minutes. I think only a couple minutes he played. I know it doesn't show here on this, but I don't think he was in there more than 3 or 4 minutes. Obviously didn't really do much. I think he shot one. Yeah, he shot one time, miss that layup. But yeah, Aaron Eulis, man. I said in the episode that I made about a month ago when I just talked Iowa basketball for like 20, 30 minutes, similar to what I'm doing tonight by myself. Yeah, I'm missing Tyler, by the way. He's probably sleeping. I'm recording this pretty late at night, and he gets up at like 3:30 in the morning. So I don't blame him if he's sleeping. So if he's listening to this, Tyler, I'm not making fun of you. I don't blame you at all. But I'm just saying what you're probably doing right now. People are wondering. But anyways, yeah. So when I made that episode, like, and 30, about a month ago, I said the X factor of this season, and people probably laughed. I said it was Aaron Eulis. Very weird to say, but I actually thought Aaron Eulis might start this year. I thought he might have been the point guard and then Tony Perkins at the 2. And obviously that's not the case, but you could tell in the second half, what was kind of the go-to lineup? What was the closing lineup the last 10 minutes? It was Aaron Eulis and Tony Perkins. So maybe my prediction wasn't all that wrong, but I said Aaron Eulis was the X factor because we need better guard play. You go the last decade under Fran McCaffrey. That's been the downside for Fran's teams, right? The guard play just hasn't been very good. And actually, I think I saw a tweet. Let's see who it was by. I sent it to the group. Rick Webster said, Eulis and Perkins on the floor together is very hard to guard. They're quicker than Seton Hall's defenders. When's the last time you could say that? And what he's referencing is because in previous years, outside of like maybe last year, because last year we had Tony Perkins, but outside of that, we have never had really good guard play. John Miller talked about it all the time. And if Aaron Eulis can be that dude for us along with Tony Perkins, that only is good for Iowa. And tonight he had 8 points for us, 2 assists, right? 3 rebounds, made some free throws for us. Like he did, and very good defense. Aaron Eulis, really good defense. That's exactly what you need out of that guy. And whether he starts or not at all this season, he's going to play a lot of minutes because you saw it tonight. I think Fran trusts him. I think last year he just wasn't quite there yet. This year, definitely, you could tell, has taken that next step. I just hope he can be consistent about it at this point, right? You don't want, someone can take the next step, but, might have a good game and then, be off for a couple games. I just hope he can be pretty consistent for us. So let's just look at the team stats here. Field goal wise, we shot 43%. Man, in the first half, we were missing a lot of easy. I wouldn't say like easy buckets, but definitely buckets that we should have scored. And we missed some wide open threes. I know Payne Sanford, both of his threes were wide open. But overall, 43% from the 3-point line. We shot only 31%, which once again, we only made 5 threes and we put up 83 points. Like that's to me, that's insane because Iowa is generally a pretty good 3-point shooting team. And we only shot 5 threes. Like we only made, or I should say we only made 5 threes. We shot 31%, yet we put up 83 points. Now the free throws, and I've already seen people on Twitter, Seton Hall fans tweeting, and we shot 33 free throws versus them only 13. You watch the game. Was there maybe a few calls here or there that maybe was kind of like, but for the most part, they were fouling. Those were a lot of fouls. It's like, quit reaching in, right? And you can make the case that some of our calls on them were not that great either. So I get it. We shot 33 free throws. They only shot 13, but it is what it is. We shot 84% from the free throw line, which is really good to see because going into, last year, that was our big weakness was, 2 things, rebounding and making free throws. And shooting 85% from the free throw line, that'll do. Let's see here. We got out rebounded. They had 40 rebounds. They had 38 offensive boards. They had 18. We had 13. That's, I said, that's something we need to we need to clear up. We need to figure out. I do love this. So, speaking of defense, 8 steals, and they had 16 turnovers. Pretty good defense. 67 points. Now, I thought that stretch there at the end of the first half, like the last 5 minutes, was unbelievable defense. I mean, they went so cold. We were playing very aggressive on D, and it was really good to see. So, yeah, just overall, I mean, this is gonna be a short episode. I don't really need to talk much. I think everyone kind of gets what the game is. I just kind of wanted to go over everything. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything or not. I don't know. I love it. I love also tonight with Tony Perkins, just some of those drives that he was going in, being very aggressive. I love to see that. And I hope we see more of that as the year goes on with Tony. Let's take a look at Iowa's schedule before we call this a night. So as you can see here, did not mean to zoom in there. So we have one more game, one more easy game before we kind of go on this. What is it? 5? I don't know. It's actually 6. I know it doesn't show here, but we do play on Saturday, November 26th as well. But we play Omaha on Monday night on Big Ten Network. Should be a win. And then we play in the tournament. And I don't know. I don't know where this tournament's at. I know I'm a shitty fan. I don't know where the tournament's at, but I want to say somewhere good. I mean, I would say somewhere probably in Florida or something. Let me see here. Iowa basketball schedule. I think it's going to show it on their actual website. So I'm curious right now. But we play Clemson, and then if we win, regardless if we win or lose, we will play again on Saturday, but it just depends on who will play on Saturday. Florida. Emerald Coast Classic in Florida. So I'll just look at actually the Hawkeye website. So yeah, we play Omaha on Friday or on Monday, and then on Black Friday, which if you're an Iowa fan, man, that's going to be a hell of a day. Iowa, Nebraska. Hopefully, if we win this weekend against Minnesota, that will be the game. Well, not only do you want to beat Nebraska because it's Nebraska, but might be, if we win on Saturday, trip to go to Indy if we beat Nebraska. So that's a big game. And then literally right after that game's over with, because that game starts at 3, probably go right up until 6 o'clock, Iowa Clemson, which we're going to be at the Iowa football game. So it's going to kind of suck because I'm probably not going to be able to watch this game, damn it. Or watch at least the first, half. And then, yeah, so we play that. Win or lose, we will play Saturday. Just depends on who will play, either Cal or TCU, which I don't really know much about these teams. I know at the beginning of the year, I looked up Clemson. I looked up, where they're going to kind of fare at. I looked, I think Georgia Tech too. I think both of them were more towards the bottom of the ACC. So they're not really good ACC teams, but they're going to be, it's going to be tough. I mean, they're not going to be cakewalks, right? TCU I thought was supposed to be pretty good this year, but I'm pretty sure they lost the other night to some shit team. So I don't know. But then anyways, get done with that small little tournament. And then we play on Tuesday. This is the ACC Challenge. We play Georgia Tech at home, which that should be a win. I mean, we should win that game. And then we play Duke, Jimmy V Classic. I will be there. I cannot wait in New York City, Madison Square Garden. It just worked out. We were going to New York all along, and we were going to go Wednesday through Sunday. Just so happened to look at Iowa's schedule. I was like, oh shit, we're literally in New York a day after there. I'm like, okay, no, we're moving the plane. We're going a day early. So we're going to that game. I'm pretty stoked about that. And then 2 days later, which, man, I can't believe we play 2 days after that game. Give us some time, right? We play Iowa State at home, and then we play Wisconsin at home. And then we play some, 2 cakewalk teams before we officially start Big Ten play. So we have a really hard stretch coming up here after Omaha. And this is why tonight's game was so big, because our non-conference this year, way better than previous years. And I like it. I'm glad that Fran, rose to the occasion, and I think it builds confidence for your team when you do stuff like that, because it shows that, hey, I trust you as players. Like we have a good team. Like I trust that you guys are capable of competing against these teams, right? And so I like it. But it is tough. And that's why tonight's game I thought was so big because after Omaha, like I said, we have a 6-7 game stretch here where you're not going to win all those games. You're just not. You're going to lose a couple. And to get that first win out of the way is huge. Now, just looking at this, I would imagine that we will beat Clemson. I would imagine that's going to happen. I hope it happens, but I imagine. And then we play again on Saturday. It's going to be tough, and especially regardless of Cal or TCU. But let's just say we lose one. Let's just say we lose one game in that little tournament. Okay, that's fine. We have one loss. I say we beat Georgia Tech at home. Duke game's gonna be tough. I don't know if we're gonna win that game. I think, in my opinion, if we can keep it close, make it a very competitive game, I think that's good. Now, I know Duke is a little down this year. They're not as good as they were last year, but I think just confidence-wise, if you can keep it close with Duke, I mean, if you won, it'd be awesome. But if you kept it close with them, I think that's good. And then we get Iowa State at home. Iowa State, they're always just going to be tough. Just under, their head coach, TJ. It's just who they are. They're a tough team. They're going to play really good defense. You already see that this year. I haven't watched, but I've looked up, kind of followed their first two games, and the teams that they play, they just can't score. I mean, like Iowa State just plays really good defense. So that's going to be a really tough game at home. I'm glad that game's at home. I'm going to say, I don't know. I don't want to go too over just because we won tonight. I don't want to go too overboard. I'm going to say this: Iowa State, Wisconsin. I'm going to say we at least split those two games. So either give me the Iowa State game or give me the Wisconsin game. So if that's the case, right? That's the case. One win right there. 2, 3. What is it? 6 games altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 6 games. I know on this screen it's not showing the TC or Cal. So that's 6 games. If we could somehow go at least 3 and 3 for 6. But if we go 4, if we get 4 out of the 6, that would be good. That would be really good. At least get half, if not get 4. But regardless, it's going to be a really fun stretch after this Omaha game on Monday. It's going to be a really fun stretch, and I'm really excited for. So that will do it for this episode. I'm glad I did this. Kind of fun, actually. Might do more throughout the season. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what my response is to these episodes, see what the views are, and see if it's even worth doing it. But that will do it for this episode. We'll be back on Sunday or Monday to go over the Iowa Minnesota game for football, and then talk a little Iowa Nebraska. We normally obviously record episodes middle of the week, but with Thanksgiving next week, I'm going back home on probably Tuesday night. So it's just probably going to be either Sunday or Monday we're going to record. So be on the lookout for that. And as always, go Hawks.